some tips, like practical, they've never done this before, but they're interested?
Yeah, there are so many things that you can do. It all begins with awareness, expanding awareness. Because if you tune in to the world around you, you'll begin to notice that there are currents of energy that have gone unnoticed previously, and some of those currents of energy have a mystical nature to them. Most of us go through life with blinders on. It's like I like to say sometimes we go through life as if we're looking through toilet paper tubes. We can only see what's directly in front of us, and we block out all of the information and all of the beauty and everything in nature that's around us because we don't need it for survival. We'll tune into it if we want to, have a moment of joy about nature or something like that. But for the most part, we basically stare straight ahead and we don't see what's going on around us. And then if something does happen that catches our attention that's weird that we don't notice, like you feel yourself walking through a spirit, or you see something out of the corner of your eye that flits by and you look and it's gone, we'll explain it away. A lot of people will explain it away and not investigate further. Say it's just a trick of the imagination. So when you begin to expand your awareness, you begin to realize that there are, as I said, these currents of energy that flow through nature that you're usually disconnected from. And the best way to expand your awareness is to go out in nature. So a lot of us have confined ourselves in the cityscape, in the urban setting, and we don't really get out into nature as much as we used to. Now, I don't want to imply that if you're in the cityscape, it's not possible for you to expand your consciousness. It is. It's just a little bit easier to notice those forces when you're out in nature. And if you open yourself up to the possibility that maybe every single thing that you see in nature is infused with spirit, and that those spirits have messages for you, that they have experiences and information and gifts for you, you'll begin to notice them more and more. I have encountered out in nature, I've encountered fairies, I've encountered animal spirits that were disembodied, not actually in the bodies of animals, but you could feel them and hear them walking by. I've even been guided by, I would call them forest nymphs or forest fairies or something. I've gone hiking before and I've had these energetic beings come up to me and show me which way to go down the pathway. And they've always, they've led me to places that I would never have known existed out in the wilderness. So that's one way to expand your awareness. Expanding your awareness also means like just getting in touch with the world around you. We walk around in shoes all the time with our feet, in socks and then a pair of rubber shoes or high heels, and it feels good to walk in a nice pair of shoes. It feels fantastic to walk barefoot on grass. And that will open up your senses to feel what it's like to connect with Mother Earth, to connect with Pachamama below in order to get that deeper connection with nature. So I know those sound like simple things that aren't really directly related to consciousness expansion. We think of consciousness expansion as powerful breath work and ayahuasca ceremonies and going to Tibet and visiting with a guru who gives you Shaktipat and passes an activation onto you through your third eye. Those are very powerful experiences. I've had all three of them. But if you just begin with the simple things, just connect with nature, that's going to really lay the groundwork for you to accelerate the expansion of your consciousness later. So does that help at all? Does that answer your question?
It's very practical, and it's anybody can do that. You can
Yeah.
go out even if you live in the city. There are trees, and I've I've had great experiences. I don't know why, but the banyan trees in Miami, I'm in Miami and there's these big banyan,
Mm-hmm.
and I can go and place my hand close to the trunk and I can feel the energy as I remove my hand from the trunk. It's like the tree is communicating with me. It's giving me some of its energy in some way. And even like when I go on hikes, I do say I greet the trees and I'll acknowledge them as I go by, and it does make it different. It's a different experience when you connect with nature like that. And it like you said, it is timeless when you do that, because you're taking yourself out of your, like you said, your toilet paper rolls and your tunnel vision of surviving or any feeling of lack. There's just abundance when you can immerse yourself in nature. I think those are two awesome tips. And stress
Yeah.
relief, the forest, the trees can just lower your blood pressure. That's not a question. That's been proven, right? Like,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
what a better way to help your health than to be in nature and like you said,
Yeah.
walking barefoot. I love it.
Wonderful. And the
Thank you.
other thing that's really beneficial about this is a lot of people, when they're first starting out, they don't yet have the ability to notice the subtle nuances of energy. So when you're first starting out, a lot of times you have this feeling that you need to hear the booming voice of God in your ear. Otherwise, you're not hearing anything. You need a profound experience. You need to have an out of body experience like I had, or a vision of a being coming up to you and talking to you face to face. And the vast majority of the energy that you're going to encounter is very, very subtle in nature. And that's why walking in nature is going to be very beneficial to you. It's going to fine tune your senses, your higher senses, those your sensory perception that is beyond just the physical five senses. It's going to hone that so you can really begin to tap into those very subtle currents of energy. And you'll begin to notice little tiny shifts in energy that tell you that something is happening.